Wollongong was waving goodbye to a pair of the Illawarra's finest modern-day products, as the dependable Dean Young and his 2010 premiership-winning captain Ben Hornby made their final appearances in Wollongong. Fittingly, the Dragons' opening try against the New Zealand Warriors personified the changing of the guard in the gong.
Plenty of time to get the kick away. Here's Pryor and Matthews! Will Matthews! There were no Warriors players within cooey of Will Matthews, who gets his first try in St George Illawarra colours. The Dragons finally, after all that possession, lead by 4.
Making their first appearance since the sacking of coach Brian McLennan midweek, the Aucklanders offered very little until the 28th minute.
Now Maloney under pressure. Here comes Manu! Ball has been knocked back by the beast and Sean Johnson scored.
Aided by their opposition's lack of ball security, St George Illawarra employed a more expansive style than we've seen this season and reaped the rewards.
Stanley away from Johnson, too much pace for Brown. Stanley, they won't stop him, and Chase Stanley has scored a try out of nowhere and then put the foot down. The Dragons are back in front and he can play Chase Stanley, but can you believe this? That's the first try for him for the season.
Stanley not only saved himself from a post-season nudie run, but gave the hosts a 6-point half-time lead, which they stretched into double figures when Jason Nightingale flew highest.
Soward, high, Henry is there, coming through and grabbing it and scoring the try is Nightingale. He flew with grace, grabbed it and scored.
The converted custodian proved his worth as a support player as well.
Here's Cray, straightening. Now Nightingale gets himself a double. Ben Cray straightened, Nightingale at the gap, and the Dragons lead by 14.
The man who held the famous Dragons #1 jersey earlier in the season scorched WIN Stadium's western touchline, only to be thwarted by a magnificent ankle tap by Carlos Tulmavave. But 2 tackles later, the forwards finished what Brett Morris began.
Merrin short ball, Miller is over. Josh Miller gets his first try in Dragons colours, and St George Illawarra can celebrate a home win.
Then the Dragons turned on the class and skill, crushing a dispirited Kiwi club with their third 4-pointer in the space of 10 minutes.
Nightingale back on the inside, Cooper. He's got the fullback in front of him. He bounces away from one tackle. Now Cray Morris was on his outside. He doesn't need him. He doesn't use him. And Ben Cray has got himself a try. And the Dragons have hit 30 plus.
In sharp contrast to Parramatta's caretaker coach Brad Arthur a month ago, it was turning out to be a forgettable introduction to the NRL for Tony Iro.
Try out the back to Cooper, who scores. Terrific hands from Ben Cray, and Matt Cooper crosses for the Dragons.
It was 26-0 in the second stanza, and while it was too little too late for Saints' playoff ambitions, it was still a fine way to farewell 2 men who have worn the big red V with great distinction. David Rowlands, Big Pond Sport.
Watch exclusive NRL videos on your mobile with the 2012 NRL iPhone app. Download it now for free at the App Store.